And in the second moment, when I left the airport, my first contact was that I felt on the floor. So I understand like Jiu-Jitsu is not so small in Russia. I think like if the Russian became your friend, you have a friend forever. Normally we go to the girl and whoa, like Jiu-Jitsu, it's enough. The technique, it's enough. They have a team and gym because they need money, but they don't care about the people. I put these clothes, and when I came out from the airport, I almost died. I was always put my both foot on the fire because I didn't feel my legs anymore. Don't put me to sit and look some fights, especially when both guys sit and they do 50-50 or just berimbolo, both guys try to do berimbolo. I will not waste my time look at this kind of video. This is because your testosterone starts to be low. So if you will do this, I am sure you will like have a good success in your career. My name is Kristian Cestaro. I have 41 years old, so I'm black belt, 3rd degree, student of Rodrigo Pagani from Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu. I started Jiu-Jitsu really old, to be honest. I was a physical coach condition. I saw some guys training luta livre in that time. I already tried some karate, Muay Thai, judo, but I never saw something like a luta livre before. And I didn't know about jiu-jitsu in that time, so I asked the guy to try to train a little bit. So I trained for 1 year luta livre, and then unfortunately I moved to the other place where I was coaching also, and then I meet my first coach, Rodrigo Pagani. And then he invited me to try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and after that I fell in love for Jiu-Jitsu, and I never stopped. I think after 1 month of training, I started to compete. First competition in the white belt was after 1 month. I asked my coach to introduce me to Gracie family in that time. He take me to the Gracie Muay Thai. And then Gracie Muay Thai, they have some kind of competition training, like 1 o'clock every day. In this moment, I understand like this is what I want for my life. I start to train Jiu-Jitsu every day. And in these classes, I start to compete more. And I start to think like what I can do to train Jiu-Jitsu like all day, be professional. How I come to Russia was like a big surprise for me, for my parents, for everybody. I was compete one of the most important tournaments in Brazil. This was International Rio Open, and I won the absolute in brown belt and the division. And then I received my black belt in the podium, and after that everything started. It's normally in the Gracie Muay Thai, people try to find the coach to open the gym in different cities in different countries. And that time, some people was interested to open gyms in São Paulo, for example, in Brazil, in Angola, and Norway. And I have some proposals to go to this place. But I meet one guy, Brazilian guy, who was doing medicine in Russia. And he told me, man, we don't have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Russia. So what do you think? Maybe we can do something together there. In the first moment, I think like myself, like this is really strange and go to the Russia and complete different place for me, different culture, cold place. And then I told him, okay, let's talk about this. But I really don't want to come. And then I was waiting for the things happen in the other place. But this guy, he was calling like every week, 2-3 times per week. And then I decided, okay, see what happened in Russia. And then I decided to come. I came to Russia, and for me was really, really funny because on the day when I come, this was almost 7 years ago, was really cold. If I'm not wrong, was the second day most cold in this year. I tried to prepare myself, but I was not prepared for this. And in the second moment when I left the airport, my first contact was that I felt on the floor. In the first moment. And my first reaction was like come back immediately for the airport and come back to Brazil. But then I came to Russia, I stayed in Abshijit. I find really good friends there. A lot of Brazilians was here doing medicine. So for me, it was a little bit more easy because I have some Brazilian friends here. For 3 months, I was trying to find something to do here because I saw the reality. The dream, it's one thing, but the reality is the other thing. We was trying to find the places to open the gym here. No one can help us because he has like not so much contacts here. I didn't know anybody here. I didn't speak Russia, even speak English in that time. After 3 months, I understand like I can't stay like this, so I need to find a place to train. And I start to check in the internet where I can start to train. And then I find one place a little bit far from me, in Krasnaya Varota, and I was there to talk to the coach. The coach at that time, he was, if I'm not wrong, blue or purple belt, and I asked him, man, I need a place to train, to keep in form. He told me, man, we don't have training here. I remember that time was something like 10 guys was training jiu-jitsu there. He told me, man, let's do like this. I will do a masterclass for you. Come, teach, and we can talk after that. So next week I was there for this masterclass. For my surprise, he put something like 60 guys or a little bit more on the mat. For me, it was like, whoa, I didn't expect so many people. But I understand after that, like the more part of these guys, they didn't train jiu-jitsu. They came from grappling, they came from sambo, they came from judo, wrestling. A few guys was training jiu-jitsu in that time. I think everybody enjoyed the class, and after that he invited me to teach in this place for 3 times a week. In this place I was like 1 year teaching there. To be honest, of course, the level was not good, was not the best level. And I didn't know about the other schools in Russia, but a couple of guys started to come to my class from the other gyms. So I understand like jiu-jitsu is not so small in Russia. This was 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Guys from another gyms like purple belts started to come to my class, blue belts, a lot of white belts. And that time, have no black belts in Russia. I was the first black belt to come to Russia and stay in Russia. Of course, before me, many black belts come, not so many, but a couple of black belts was in Russia, but for seminars. If I'm not wrong, was Zé Radiola was here before me, Max Carvalho, Lúcio Lagarto, Roger Gracie. Marcos Vinicius was the first, if I'm not wrong, was the first guy to come to Russia. He brings jiu-jitsu to Russia, if I'm not wrong. But I was the first guy to come and stay. For me, it was like, was really hard because for me, it was like, I was training every day in Brazil, a lot of black belts, brown belts to train, and here I was trying to find a blue belt to train. And of course, we have a really strong guys here, technical guys, but they came from judo, they came from sambo, they came from wrestling, it's not jiu-jitsu. I start to adapt my trainings for this. We start to grow together, this was the best part. I can't talk exactly the level in Jiu-Jitsu Russia because in that time we have no tournaments here. I can tell you just about the guys who was training with me, and the level of course was not so good. But for my surprise, the guys start to grow really fast. Some small competitions start to come to Russia. My guys start to compete like Europeans in Spain, in Italy, and then because of this, our level start to grow really fast. When I was teaching this place in Krasnaya Varota, we was representing the Gracie Muay Thai. In that time, me, my professor Rodrigo Pagani, and our master Saulo Ribeiro, Xande Ribeiro, everybody was representing Gracie Muay Thai. But of course, we always have some problems and some circumstances who change, and they decide to create the Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu team. And my professor, of course, he was a Saulo student, and he decided to move, and he invited me also to join the team. The things change a lot, but in that time, in my time, we follow the coach, we follow the masters in their decision. So of course, I joined the team. We became Ribeiro. Of course, I was in Brazil. I talked to Saulo. I explained for him how the things work here in Russia because the things works here completely different in Brazil or America. It's complete different culture and people are different, so I explained him how the things work, and he told me that like it will be a good opportunity for us to go to the European and Asia, and you are the right person to do this. So for me it was a big pleasure and honor to open the first Ribeiro school in Russia. I was teaching Krasnaya Varota for 1 year, and then we decided to move to one place here close to Yugoslavia. We ran the place, and this place I was teaching for 1 year. But the price for the rent was incredible high, have not so much students, so I was putting all my money to pay for the rent. A friend, he rent this place here. He was using just on Sundays, so Monday to Saturday the place was free. And he offered me like to rent this place, and he gave me a good price. we moved to this place. In that time, the student gave me the mats as a gift. He did the repair here. We put the mats, and then we just start the work here. I think we moved to this place here 2012. We did a couple of repairs here. We changed the mats, but the place was not really good. Was not comfortable for the people. No showers. We have no properly toilets. We have like no changing rooms. Like was complete crazy. People who was trained with us here, they was really warriors to come here, because in that time we can offer nothing for them, just the trains, and that's all. But in 2017 we decided to close the gym for 1 month and a half, and we did like the big repair here, and I think we are doing good.
Зовут меня Саша Кундришвили. Пришел я заниматься сюда чуть больше 3 лет назад. Да, вот недавно как раз было 3 года, юбилейчик такой маленький у меня. До этого занимался кудо, что-то мне надоело там судейство и прочая фигня, и решил, что буду снова бороться. Вот, поэтому, потому что в детстве я занимался дзюдо, это было давно уже и неправда. Смотрел залы поблизости, потому что жил на тот момент здесь недалеко, в теплом стане, и на фотке увидел Купера. А я, собственно, был с ним знаком года с 10-го, думаю, раз так сложилось, то приду к Крису в зал. Пришел, здесь все было еще не такое красивое белое, были черные татами, и начал заниматься каждый день, 5 дней в неделю. Через 2 месяца поехал на первые Саревы в Рим, проиграл там 14-8, не понимал вообще, откуда берутся эти баллы, короче, ничего не понимал, просто что-то делал. И с тех пор, собственно, не останавливаюсь. Также здесь тренируюсь каждый день, плюс еще вот с утра мне сейчас доверили группу 3 раза в неделю. Что касается Криса как тренера, то, наверное, для меня он не просто тренер, вот, гораздо больше, потому что, помимо общения в зале, мы общаемся вне зала, то есть мы скорее даже друзья, чем у нас отношения дружеские, помимо того, что ученик и тренер. Поэтому, собственно, его решением, его видению процесса, и я доверяю полностью. Каких-то сомнений в том, что что-то он делает неправильно, у меня не возникает. Я вижу это в своем результате, как минимум. Вот, то есть, в свою очередь, я стараюсь ему тоже помогать, если чем-то могу помочь. Вот поэтому мы больше все-таки здесь даже не команда как таковая, а такая у нас семейная обстановка, своеобразный юмор, который так здесь нормально так развился и прогрессирует. Вот. Блин, это такой своеобразный фильтр, я считаю. Кто не вывозит, отсеивается.
Before I come to Russia, I was thinking in Russia we have a lot of giants. People are high, strong. I think it will be a good place for me. So when I came to Russia, for me it was a big surprise because I didn't saw any giant here. I was the most big guy in the country. To be honest, in the first 1 year and a half, I have not so much contacts here. I was living in Abshijit. In Abshijit, just Brazilians. Have just Brazilian friends. I was teaching the gym. I have the students here, but the student that time was not a really close friends. So I didn't know exactly about the Russian culture. For me, in the first 1 year and a half, was like that. But then we start to travel together. We start to walk a little bit. Went to the restaurants, all this stuff, and then I start to understand a little bit about the culture, a little bit about how they think, what they do. I really like the way how the Russians think, or the way how they do the things. I think if the Russian became your friend, you have a friend forever. It's true. I can feel this because I have a lot of students. For me, my students, they are like my second family. So when I meet Rita also, she started to introduce more me in this world, Russian world. And to be honest, the only bad part, it's cold. It's really cold, especially for Brazilians. But to be honest, only this is the bad part, because Russia is a beautiful country, beautiful people. People are how can I say, authentic people, they are not fake, the more part of the people, you know. You can trust on them. You can tell them your problems, your fears. They will not tell to the other people. They will not use this against you. So for me, this is really beautiful. That's why I love so much this culture, these people. For me, it's one of the best places to live and to stay, you know. I came from Brazil, and everybody knows, like in Brazil, especially now, it's not so safe. We have a big crisis. We have like many problems in Brazil. That's why everybody want to find the other place to stay, because in Brazil it's really dangerous now. People also, they think in Russia it's dangerous because they have like this terrorist, all this stuff, you know, and it's not true. You know, it's not true. He's pretty safe. You can walk, for example, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Sometimes my wife, she takes the dogs to walk like midnight on the street and have no problems. You know, in Brazil, you can do this. After 11, you can walk alone. Even if you are a man, imagine the girls. You can walk alone on the street. So he's pretty safe. It's a good place to have kids, you know, because it's safe. And the life here is not bad, it's good. So the funny history how I met my wife was like, I have this Brazilian community here, and we have a lot of Brazilian sportsmen here in Russia. They play especially mini football. And Rita was working in Dynamo at that time. And of course, I'm a little bit different to the other Brazilians because I'm big, I have almost 2 meters. She came to me and the first time and she told me like, oh, you're Brazilian, your name is Kristian, yes. So this is my number. If you need some help, if you need something, just tell me. Like I can help you. And for me it was like, whoa, in Brazil we are not like this, you know. Normally we go to the girl and we talk like something, but I think she has like no second intention that time. She just really want to help because she want to help everybody. But for me it was like a little bit whoa, like. And then we start to talk in the Facebook in that time, and then we start to talk in the Skype, via Skype. And she didn't speak any Portuguese that time, just a little bit of Spanish. And I didn't speak Russian. I didn't speak English well, but she was using Google Translator, I was using Google Translator, and we was talking like this for a couple of months. And then she started to learn Portuguese to talk with me, and after 3 months she was speaking Portuguese like really good. We have like a relation as a friend for 1 year or a little bit more, 1 year and a half, and then we decided like to be together. We have this phrase, Jiu-Jitsu is for everyone. And this is true, Jiu-Jitsu is for everyone, but everyone it's not from Jiu-Jitsu. It looks like really a little bit funny, but it's true, because to train Jiu-Jitsu you need to be smart, you need to put to the side your ego. It's really easy to work. The guy don't need to have a talent, the guy don't need to be the most smart guy in the world, but when the guy came to me as a white belt, he didn't train any style of fight before, like judo, wrestling. He didn't train before. This guy is the perfect guy to teach Jiu-Jitsu. The most difficult guy for me is these guys who come already, they was competing judo, wrestling, sambo for many years. For them, it's really hard to forget complete about what they learned all his life and start something new. So they just want to take something from Jiu-Jitsu to put in their game. But this is not Jiu-Jitsu. This is Sambo, and extra they have some small things from Jiu-Jitsu, or Judo, or wrestling, or something like this. To put in their mind this, like you need to forget complete about what you did before, and you need to start from zero. It's hard to put this. Sometimes I can do, but the more part of the times, it's impossible. And they need to learn alone, you know, because sometimes they want in the gym, because they think the gym is the competition. So they came every day to the train, and the train is the competition for them. But then when they decide to go in real Jiu-Jitsu tournament in high level, when we're talking about Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, we're talking about high level. They understand like it's not enough for them. They need to learn. And then in some cases, yes, they understand and they start to try to learn. Some of these guys just disappear and stop. And some guys, they just don't care and they continue like this. So for me, it's really easy to teach guys who never trained before. And the most hard guys is these guys who have was like a really professional competitor and some wrestling or judo or sambo. These guys are really hard to teach. This question, many guys ask me, not one, two, or three. So they ask me like, man, what do you think? Good idea to go to the gym and do physical condition or not? And then I talk to them. You have time to train jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. If you will find one more day to do physical condition, it's better to not do. It's better to come and train jiu-jitsu 4 times. Or it's better to train jiu-jitsu 5 times or 6 times or 7 times. Always try to train more jiu-jitsu. These guys, professional guys, they don't work. They don't need to go to university. They have a salary to train. They have sponsors. They have doctors. They have physiotherapy. They have supplements. They have everything what they need just to train. So for them, it's okay. Go in the morning. Normally they do like this. They go in the morning and they do just drills and positions and specific train. And then after that, they go home, they eat, they rest, and then they do a physical condition 3 times a week. And then in the night, they come back and they do just sparring. So for them, it's okay. But it's possible to be a champion without conditional training? Of course, yes. Many guys don't do. Ask Marcelo. He really don't like to do physical condition. It's important to do for the result. In my opinion, no. In my opinion, the physical condition, it's good just to preserve your body. Your muscles need to be strong to help your knees, your joints, all this stuff. Not to be better or fast or strong in jiu-jitsu. In my opinion, it's not a big deal. You can just train jiu-jitsu and you will be good. Jiu-jitsu, it's enough. The technique, it's enough. The other thing I can see these days, especially these last months, how many athletes have traumas and they have start to have really bad results in the tournament. They start to be really tired. Why? Because of the overtraining. So they train too much. They do too much condition training, and the body is not machine. Of course, one day your body will feel. And you don't know, now everybody is young. They have 18, 19, 20 years old. But when they become a little bit old, we don't know what will happen. For me, if you have time to train more jiu-jitsu, I recommend you to train more jiu-jitsu. If you want to do physical condition, do it. 2, maximum 3 times a week, but just to prevent injuries, not to increase your speed or power or something like this. For me, this doesn't work. When we talk about high-level competitors and about how they train, it's really, really individual. Because you know your body better than me. I know my body better than you. So I know how my body works, you know how your body works. So we can see guys like Miao who train all day if they want. They can train all day and they are not tired. But you can talk to guys like Caio Terra. I saw him for many years, he was trained 3 times a week. And he was how many times he was world champion? He was trained 3 times a week. Now he trained more because he have a lot of students who need his help. So he need to train more to help his students. But he was a world champion many times, training 3 times a week. So he was not training 3 times per day. I have a friend who was a world champion. He was world champion, trained 6 days per week. So he trained 1 time per day and he rests Sunday. So this is really individual. Shanji, for example, he liked to train when he has no competition, he trained 2 or 3 times a week. When he came more close to the competition, he started to train every day, some physical condition, but his physical condition is a little bit different what we can see now. It's something really specific. If you feel you need to train more, 2 or 3 times a day, and for your body it's okay, and you feel happy, and you feel good, do it. If you feel happy, if you feel this work for you, train 3 times a week, do it. When I was young, I was training every day, Monday to Saturday, 2 times per day. And for me, it was okay. But now, for me, it's impossible to train 2 times per day. So for me, it's enough to train 1 time per day, Monday to Saturday, and rest every Sunday. It's really individual. About beginners, as I told you, after 1 month of training, I started to compete. I did my first tournament. For me, it was okay because my coach prepared me for this tournament. I was doing 1 month, just one takedown, one sweep, one pass, and one submission. For 1 month, he taught me just this. Of course, when I was in the fight, everything what I tried was wrong, didn't work. Thanks God I won the tournament. And I remember I fought like 8 tournaments in white belt. I won all the 8 tournaments in white belt. And I was feeling like, oh, great. I'm like a super white belt. I received my blue belt. And in my first tournament in blue belt was in national champion in Brazil. And I lost in the first fight. And after that, I was 3 months without training because I was thinking like I was complete shit, you know? I was thinking like just because I won all these tournaments, I was like, oh, the best white belt in the world. And I understand Jiu-Jitsu, we don't have like the best guy. We have the best guy in this moment. I talk to my students. If you want to compete after 1 month, 1 month and a half, 2 months, it's okay if you don't put pressure in yourself, okay? Because when you come to your students and talk to him like, man, it's not good idea to go to compete now. Let's wait a little bit more. Let's prepare more. You don't feel this, but you start to put some pressure on him. If he's happy here in the gym, training in the gym, if he will be happy going to the tournament and compete, if he will be happy winning or losing, have no right moment to start. You just need to be happy. You cannot do this for pressure or because your coach put pressure on you or because you put pressure on yourself. For me, have not perfect time to start to compete. You can do this after 1 month, you can do this after 1 year. I just really don't believe, to be honest, in black belt who never compete in his life. For me, this is a little bit strange. I think every black belt needs to compete minimum 1 time in their life. Because how you can teach the things who you never did? How you can help your students to compete if you never compete? How you can give example for them? For me, this is a little bit strange, but this is another history. And about the competition, how often they need to compete, if it's possible, every week. One of the big problems in Russia is that we don't have too much tournaments. Sometimes we go to the international tournaments and we have not so good results. It's not because our level, it's not good. Sometimes, yes, level there, it's better. But we need to understand, first, these guys have a tournament every week. Every week they are competing. So they have huge experience. They know exactly what to do in the tournament, how to pull the guard, the time to pull, the time to not pull, how to do the takedown, when it's time to sweep, when it's time to stay in the position. You will get this just if you compete. Because I can try to explain, I do this every class, I try to explain to my students how to do it. But when they go to the competition, it's completely different, it's another history. If you can compete every week, every month, good for you. You know, especially big tournaments, not these small tournaments when you compete the same guys every time. Of course, it's better than nothing. But you need to understand the real level, it's not this. To understand the real level, you need to go to international tournaments. Sometimes you go in the international tournaments and you think your level is not good, but you need to understand, again, these guys compete a lot. They don't need to work. They don't need to go to university. They just train. They eat well. They sleep well. And this is a big difference for our guys here because our guys here, they need to work a lot. For my students, even it's really hard to go to 1, 2 big tournaments per year because they need to ask for vacations to go to compete. And many times they don't let them to do it. I think the things will start to change in Russia just when the investors will start to look our guys and start to invest some money on them. And then we will see how the Jiu-Jitsu will grow in Russia really fast. For me, it's hard to understand why people are afraid to compete. Maybe because people think they have some reputation. And this is really common, especially in small Jiu-Jitsu community. And people start to be a little bit famous and they really don't want to compete in Russia. Maybe they compete, but they compete in other countries because they don't want to fight bad in their country, everybody will see, everybody will start to talk. And ego, it's a big problem. Fear, it's a problem, ego is a problem. But ego and fear can be your friend. You can control them. First, what do you need? You need a good team. You need to train hard. You need the team and you need the partners who smash you and put pressure on you every train. If you come here and you smash everybody, your training it's easy, or if you choose your train partner, you never go hard, it will be hard for you, because when you come here and you train hard and you feel the pressure every train, you understand, man, if I train here, if I survive, the competition will be much easier than this. So why I need to be afraid to compete if the train it's more hard than the competition? Just one person will win. Everybody will lose. Just one guy will take the first place. So why I need to care about this? Why I need to care about what the people think about me if they don't put ourselves on the mat, if they don't go there and if they don't compete? So if you don't compete because you are afraid about what people will say, this is a big mistake. If you are afraid to compete because you don't want to lose, maybe you are training wrong place. You need to find the place where your coach will support you. He will be in your side. He will give you good advice. You have a good team who will support you in the trains, in the tournament. And if you have all these things, have no reason to not compete. The most important thing, if you really are afraid to compete, don't go. You need to be happy in the tournament. So you need to solve this problem in your mind first and then go. Every time when I compete, I have a 41 and I still feel nervous before my fights. And this is the best thing for me, because when I am nervous, I have more attention. I don't want to fight and give something for him because I'm too confident in my style, because I won all the tournaments. No, I am always nervous. I always respect my opponent. This is really good for me. My advice is that try to find a good gym, good coach, good partners, the place where the guys will smash you every training, will put the pressure on you every training, and then you understand the competition can be worse than this. About the belt system. To be honest, this is one of the most complicated things for me. Understand when is the best time to promote someone. Yes, we have the competitors and we have the guys who came to the gym just to find friends, to lose a weight, for fun, you know? And we need to understand the individual person. Of course, in our days, the competitors, they receive the belt first. It's normal, because this is normal process. Especially if the guy, he start to win the tournaments, have no reason to keep this guy in the same belt for so long. He need to move to the next step. In BJJF, we have rules and we need to follow the rules. So before it was really common, guys receive the black belts after 3 or 4 years. Now you have a minimum time in every belt. For normal guys, I have a different system. I look how often this guy trains, if this guy is dedicated or not, if this guy is he helped the other guys or not, even if his guy don't like to compete, but he goes in the tournaments, he support the team, if he come early, if he's the first guy to come and the last guy to leave the gym. I have many things to see before I give the belt for them. And to be honest, time to time I change something, you know, because what I can see in our days is like that. The last European I saw the guy in brown belt, I will not tell the name, but he was 3 times European champion in brown belt. I saw the girl in blue belt, she was 2 times a world champion in blue belt. She was 3 times European champion in blue belt. Sometimes we put I put my guys to compete now in the new belt, and they will compete to the guy who have 6, 7 years in the same belt. This is not fair. If you want results, sometimes you need to do the same. It's not beautiful, it's not nice, but sometimes you need to do the same. The guys who normally compete in my gym, sometimes I need to keep them a little bit more in the belt because of this or the chins. So they have a rules like the minimum time for the belt, but they don't have a rules like the maximum time. They don't control like how long the guy stay in the same belt. And this is not beautiful for sport. This is not nice. But sometimes we need to follow the game also, because if we will not do this, for our students will be really bad. But of course we have a difference between the competitors and normal students. When we talk about the normal students, I look the individual. I never look the general. Big problem in Russia, it's that like people don't know well about Jiu-Jitsu. When you talk about Jiu-Jitsu, they ask like, what is this? They think Jiu-Jitsu is something like a capoeira. They really don't understand. And for my surprise, sometimes when you talk about Jiu-Jitsu, the guys are immediately ask like about Hélio Gracie, Carlos Gracie, Rickson Gracie. So some people know the history. They never saw the real Jiu-Jitsu, but they understand a little bit about this. To be honest, this question about how to promote Jiu-Jitsu in Russia, for example, it's really complicated, because in Brazil, it's not like in Abu Dhabi, for example. We don't have Jiu-Jitsu in the schools. We don't do like any a presentation in the parks or all this stuff. We don't need to do it. Normally, one friend call the other friend and invite him to go to the gym to train, or invite the guy to go to the tournament, or because we saw the UFC and we saw like, oh, this guy won, he's from Jiu-Jitsu, oh, what is this Jiu-Jitsu? And then it was interesting for us. But I really don't know how to promote the Jiu-Jitsu in this country. But I know that like people need to stop. They need to stop the guys try to stop the Jiu-Jitsu to grow in Russia. This is the most complicated part, you know, because look, many times we try to find a good place, big places to do the seminars, and bring big stars to Russia to do the seminars for all the people, because the community start to grow. And we can't do it because Jiu-Jitsu, it's not a sport in Russia. And then we try to find the tournaments. We try to do the tournaments here, and then we try to find the good place, comfortable place, big place to bring big tournaments in Russia. It's always a big problem, because some federations don't let us do this. If first thing people stop to do this and they let us work, Jiu-Jitsu will grow faster. Okay? I think we don't need to go to the park. We don't need to go to the school and talk about Jiu-Jitsu. They just need to let us work. They just need to let us develop Jiu-Jitsu in Russia. They just need to let the federation, UAE or BJJF, come to Russia and do the big tournaments in here. And then the students, they will do their part. Because how people know about Jiu-Jitsu? One guy just come to the gym and he talked to one friend, who talked to the other friend, who talked to the other friend, who invite the friend to go to the tournament, and the guy look like he feel the energy. He look all the things who happen in the tournament, and he decide to come to Jiu-Jitsu. This is the best way to promote Jiu-Jitsu. Like when you bring people to you, and these people bring the other people. One guy come to my gym one day. He was in some restaurant, and he was talking to the other guy about Jiu-Jitsu. And one guy on the other side was listening about Jiu-Jitsu. He said, "Man, why are you training Jiu-Jitsu? I really want to start to train Jiu-Jitsu." And he give the address, and the guy start to come here and train. And he bring more 2 friends. In my opinion, this is the best way. I will tell something now, and you can put or not in this interview. But When I started training Jiu-Jitsu, and all the black belts who grew with me, we was blue belt, we was purple, brown, and then we became black belts together. And of course, we walk to the guys who think like you, who have the same like education, you know, the same character. This is normal. So in my group, everybody was like this. But then when I start to meet the other black belts, and many of them, like some famous black belts who always talk about BJJ lifestyle, you know, how to sleep, how to eat, and how to treat people. And I was really like all my life I believe in this stuff. And then when you start to walk close to these guys, you can see like this is just fake. Many guys don't have this lifestyle. And for me, it's really, really sad to see this, you know. Many of them are just for business. Many of them, they just want to be famous. They have a team and gym because they need money, but they don't care about the people. I am not famous guy. I was not the best competitor. In my time, I did like the maximum to be one of the best. But as I told you, I started really late. I didn't start young in Jiu-Jitsu. But I am not more athlete. I try to put focus in my students. And I try to be the best, but the best coach for them. I don't try to be the best coach in Russia, the best coach in the planet, but I try to be the best coach for them. And when we talk about the coach, we talk about the friendship, you know, because Jiu-Jitsu, he just start here, but he don't finish here. People come here sometimes sad. People have problems in home, and they come here to train Jiu-Jitsu and forgot about the problems, but sometimes it's impossible. They just need to talk. They just need someone who listens them. How many times after train I stay here, after train like 1 hour, an hour and a half, how many times I went to my home and students call me, or we was talking in the chat about the problems until like 3, 4 in the morning. Everybody know I don't sleep in the night. I stay all night like walk like a zombie in my home, and they know like they can write me or call me during the night, and I will talk to them. I think this is a part of the Jiu-Jitsu, about the lifestyle, helping people here. Helping people here, it's more easy than help them outside. It's really hard to find a coach who sit with you and listen all your problems, or try to help you and ask for nothing, just because he want to see you happy, just because he want to help you, you know. So I think coach, sometimes he's a brother, sometimes he's a father. He needs to be a father for some students. And I try to be the best one for them, but the best coach from them. I don't need to be the best coach in Russia or in the world. I just need to be the best for them. You know, I already talked about this situation in my first day when I come to Russia. Now I can tell like it was funny, but in that time it was not so funny. Before I come to Russia, I was in the special shop, and I told them like, look guys, I'm going to Russia, and there it's really cold now, so I need special clothes for this. And then they told me, okay, you can take this, you can take this, you can use like minus 30 degrees and everything will be okay. And then I told them like, you are sure? They say, yes, it's okay. Man, I put these clothes, and when I came out from the airport, I almost died. I was not prepared. The clothes was complete shit. And I walked like 5 minutes to find a car. And in these 5 minutes for me was like 1 hour and a half walking, trying to find this car, you know, was terrible. And the second thing was that like I was in my home, and then he write me like, so what do you think? Let's do some picnic. And then I was trying to understand like what kind of picnic, because have a lot of snow, was really cold. And in Brazil, picnic is that you go to the forest or you go to the park, and you sit, you put fruits, you put like cakes, you put all these nice things to eat, I thought, okay, maybe we will do picnic in different place, I don't know. And then she came, I was like using jeans, normal shoes, and she asked me, what are you doing? And I told her, like, I'm okay, let's go to the picnic. And then she, you are crazy, we go to the florist. But she bring it to me like special clothes for this. And we went to the florist and have so much snow, we need to put the snow out. And then we start to do some barbecue there. So we put some fire because it was too cold. People was drinking like a wine, a little bit vodka, and I was just drink juice. And we stay like 8 hours in this. And no, it was not 4 hours. It was something like 6, 7, 8 hours for me. Maybe it was 4 hours, but for me it was like 8 hours. And I was always put my both foot on the fire because I didn't feel my legs anymore. And she was asking me like, because it was the second time when we date like this. And she was asking me like, everything's okay? You want to go home? And I'm like, no, everything's okay, but I really want to go home, you know, but I just don't want to quit and I don't want to show for her friends like I'm like a weak guy. So this was like a terrible day for me. So after that, I asked her never invite me for the picnic again. When we talk about the level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu level in Russia, Brazil, America, and Europe, and it's hard, but we need to tell the truth. Fortunately, the Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil have a big crisis now because everybody knows the conditions in Brazil is not good, so people start to move to America. So America, we have the best coaches and athletes in the world. It's in America, and because of this, people now start to move to Europe. And in Brazil now we have not so much good black belts. You know, of course we have a lot of black belts there. To be a good coach, you don't need to be famous. But to tell the truth, the level in Brazil start to have some problems. In America, start to grow a lot. You can see how much Americans won the European or the Mundial in lower belts and high belts. In Europe, start to grow a lot. You can see Norway, they have one of the biggest team in Europe. They have like this front line, they have this Kimura. In England, they have like a really strong jiu-jitsu. I think it's one of the, after America, it's one of the biggest place where they have jiu-jitsu, and the level and the quality it's really high. But when we talk about the Russia, it's more complicated. Okay, because the jiu-jitsu it's really young in Russia, it's really new in Russia. And I need to be honest, I think jiu-jitsu grow too fast here. Because look, how much black belts we have, how many black belts we have in Russia, how many Brazilians we have in Russia. Guys, when I came here, the guys was training alone. They was taking positions from YouTube, they was taking positions from seminars. The guys was going to the seminars in different countries to take some positions. The biggest problem here, it's that, like not so much competitions. No one want to put money to help the athletes, and not so much good coaches in Russia, because we have like blue belts teaching, we have a purple belts teaching. It's not a problem, in my opinion. The white belt can teach the other white belt. This is not a big problem. He will be not a coach, he will be not a teacher, he will be not a master. But jiu-jitsu is that if you know something, you can help the other people. You know, it's not a big problem. The problem is when you call yourself coach, when you call yourself professor, but you are just a blue belt or purple belt, even brown belt, and you as a brown belt start to give belts, start to give degree, or you receive your black belt and you start to give black belt for everybody. You think like, oh, you are right, okay, now I'm black belt, I can give belts for everybody. And this is really bad for jiu-jitsu in Russia. People can't see this. People can't see, they just can't see. So the community in Russia, it's really small. Because some guys won some small tournaments in Russia, they start to think like they are like the best guys, but they never compete international tournaments. And the more part of them, when they go, the results is not so good for many reasons. I think the level here, it's still like a low, but we have everything to be the first. If we need more coaches here, if we have more competitions here, if we have more gyms and more teams, if we have people who really want to invest money and help people to follow their dreams, people who can come and train. I don't have a student, for example, who can just train all day. I don't have. All my students need to work. Even my white belts, new white belts, they don't work, but they have to spend all day in university. So for them, it's impossible to follow the dream like this. Also, if people in Russia start to stop and think about this, they are not helping Jiu-Jitsu, and they are not helping people giving the belts like this, or give a degree, or teaching how they are doing. You can teach people if you are white, blue, purple, but do this for free. Don't take money from them, because this is not right. Or if you don't have the support, one black belt behind you who can support. Sometimes the coach is in another part of the world, and you are here. I don't know what they learn, what they teach, because I don't know from where they learn, or what they learn, or what they teach. Sometimes I feel like really sad when I go to the tournaments and I look like the level in Russia, but sometimes I look like a really good guys who have a really good potential. We have so many good guys in Russia, and for my surprise, many of these guys train alone. They even have like a real coach. They train alone, and they have a really good level. I just imagine myself like, if we put this guy in the right place and give all the support for him, we give it good partners for him to train, this guy can be good, can be great. So we just need a little bit more, and I'm sure 100% Russia can be number one in the Europe and in Asia, and if we continue, can be number one in the world. Because talents we have. We just don't have people who want to help the fighters.
Туда. Привет, Сань. Ужасно выглядишь. Я Аюб Магомадов, представитель команды «Альянс». С большим удовольствием тренируюсь в этом зале у моего уже друга, у Криса. Данность такова у нас, что ты не всегда можешь получить должную тренировочную нагрузку, тренерскую, необходимую менторскую такую помощь, проводя тренировки у себя в зале. Я очень многому учусь у Криса. Есть техника, которую он мне показал, которую мы с ним разобрали, которую я активно применяю на соревнованиях. Какие-то моменты, связанные с подготовкой к соревнованиям, я смогу у него перенять. И, соответственно, получаю удовольствие от наших таких дружеских отношений, теплых. Мне очень нравится атмосфера, которая царит в клубе. Нравится общий уровень команды, я считаю, ее одной из лучших в России. И единственным клубом, который можно назвать клубом именно бразильского джиу-джитсу. Здесь нету каких-то таких территориальных особенностей, которые свойственны российским командам.
This is a really hard question for me when you ask me about my favorite athletes, because to be honest, I don't have. I have the guys who I really don't like to see. To be honest, I have guys who I don't like. Don't put me to sit and look some fights, especially when both guys sit and they do 50-50 or just beating ball. Both guys try to do beating ball. I will not waste my time looking at this kind of video. To be honest, I like more the old school, so that's why I like to see all the fights in Masters and Seniors world, because the most interesting fight for me is in the Masters and Seniors, because it's like an old school. So all the guys try to do takedowns, all the guys try to pass, all the guys try to finish. They never try to win by advantage. So I can tell you like some names. For example, I love to see Rafael Lovato, the way how he fought, he's so aggressive. I like to see Xande, how he fought, he's so calm. He do the things in the moment when he really need to do it. So he's really strategic guy. He never spends too much energy if he don't need. Of course, I like to see Roger Grace, because almost all the fights he won by submission. Roger for me is an incredible guy. Saulo, so aggressive. Bernard Farias, because everybody know I like to do half guard also, so Bernard for me is the best half guard in the world. And when we talk about the new school, I have like I am big guy, but to be honest, I like to try some techniques who small guys also do. So I like to try like birimbolos, I like to try 50-50, I like to try lapel guards, all these new things. So to learn this, you need to look some fights for light guys. So I have like, when we talk about the new school, we have like Bruno Malfacini, for me is one of the best guys, Caio Terra, and Rafael Mendes. I think these three guys for me, when we talk about the new school, is like the best. Let's talk a little bit about the injuries, okay? Because the injuries is connected to how you train. When I started training Jiu-Jitsu, I have no one who can help me and give all the information. I was thinking like, if I train more and more, if I will be tired, if I feel pain, anyway, I can't stop to train. So I was trained like this. I injured myself. Many times I broke the fingers, you know. I have problems in the shoulders, on the neck, but I never stopped to train because I understand like to be the best, you need to be tough. But this was a huge mistake for me because I was injuring my both knees, I was injuring my shoulder, and because I didn't stop to rest, to recover, or I didn't make physiotherapy, all this stuff, now I pay for this. Today, guys, I have like a problem in both knees. I need to stop to train. I need to stop to teach, to do surgeries. I have huge problems in my shoulders, in both shoulders. I need to also stop and do surgery in both shoulders just because I didn't care about my health.
Меня зовут Агата, мне 28 лет, занимаюсь борьбой с февраля 2016 года. Да, с большими перерывами, но занимаюсь усердно. Как я пришла именно в этот зал, да и вообще в джиу-джитсу, в октябре 2015 года были соревнования у мужа по бразильскому джиу-джитсу в Леон-База. И я очень наседала на мужа, чтобы он бросил этот вид спорта, так как свои причины, семейные обстоятельства. И он сказал: хорошо, я брошу борьбу, но при условии, что я схожу на свои последние, так сказать, завершительные соревнования. И на эти соревнования он взял меня с собой. Это были первые соревнования, на которые я поехала. Обычно я не ездила с ним. Я поехала на эти соревнования, и я помню, когда мы зашли в зал, я увидела всю эту атмосферу джитсеров, просто все в кимоно ходят, я не понимаю, что происходит, потому что до этого я даже не смотрела ни видюшки, вообще меня ничего не интересовало. Я просто стирала кимоно и вешала его на сушилку и думала: боже, что в этом может быть интересного. Но когда я зашла в зал Леон-База, вообще увидела всю эту атмосферу, и я помню, мы стоим на ресепшене, я с мужем стою, и сзади меня я слышу какой-то такой басистый голос, громкий басистый голос, разговаривающий с девушкой. И я поворачиваюсь, тогда я увидела первый раз Kristiana Cestaro. Я увидела, как он стоит с Вероникой Чумаковой, они разговаривают на английском. И это было для меня вообще... Я смотрю такая на него: ничего себе, если это тренер, то я бы хотела к нему прийти, пожалуй. И я пошла смотреть на схватки, я смотрела схватки девочек, мальчиков, мне очень понравилось. И я думала: боже, если бы у меня сейчас была с собой куртка и штаны, я бы одела и, наверное, тоже бы кинулась бы с ними третье бороться. Было очень интересно. И когда мой муж отборолся, он занял третье место. Это были очень тяжелые схватки. Он без перерыва боролся. И когда он сел ко мне, я подсела к нему и шепнула на ухо то, что если бы я занималась джиу-джитсу, я бы никогда не бросила этот вид спорта и никогда бы не ушла, наверное, от такой команды, потому что это нужно было просто видеть и ощутить, как басистый голос тренера кричит «Гоу! Гоу!», как ребята кричат там «Давай, Саша!», еще что-то. И 2 месяца у меня ушло на то, чтобы уговорить мужа пустить меня в этот зал. Он долго переживал, потому что 3 детей, и роды сложные, он очень переживал. Но я все-таки уговорила его, он пустил меня. Первая моя тренировка была в феврале, было 3 схватки у меня. Все эти 3 схватки происходили примерно так. Я не знаю, что делать просто. Но Крис вселил в меня уверенность, несмотря на то, что у нас есть с ним барьер, это языковой, я не знаю английский, но он все равно вселил в меня надежду то, что посмотри, здесь все такие же, как ты, они пришли все так же, как ты первый раз, они не понимали, что делать, но посмотри, они теперь что-то могут, я научил их, я показал им, и эта уверенность со мной до сих пор идет. Мне очень нравится наш зал, я ходила в гости в другие залы, и каждый раз, приходя в другой зал, я думаю, о, нет, это не то, что мне нужно. Нету, у всех есть, но именно здесь создается вот это вот бразильское джиу-джитсу, вот эта вот вся атмосфера джиу-джитсу именно бразильского. Вот это вот, как проходят наши разминки, как проходят наши отработки, все до мелочей рассказывается, все до мелочей показывается. И несмотря на то, что нас здесь очень много, Крис успевает подойти к каждому и подсказать о его проблемах, где он что-то сделал не так. И я очень уважаю мнение тренера, он всегда находит на нас время и вне зале. Он, в первую очередь, не тренер, а друг наш, наверное. И потом, когда Саша изъявил желание быть детским тренером, Крис обрадовался, и Саша обрадовался, и они решили то, что да, пускай Саша попробует. Саша начал тренировать, мы начали ездить по соревнованиям разным детским, и тогда наши дети увидели всю тоже, они ощутили эту всю джиу-джитсовскую атмосферу, и дочка первая, ей было на тот момент 7,5 лет, да. Она тоже захотела, она сказала: папа, я хочу тоже приносить тебе медаль, как ты мне. И вот уже ей 9 лет, она чемпион Европы, в этом году она выиграла медаль, призер Кубка Москвы, и она не собирается бросать. И почти 2 года она тренируется, но она очень довольна.
We have some difficult problems in not only jiu-jitsu, but in all the sports. It's steroids, okay? Normally it's like this. If you have a sport, and especially Olympic sport, professional sport, you have steroids. This is true, and everybody knows this. Okay. The problem about the steroids is that, like, young guys, and this is only my opinion. Okay, the young guys, they start to use steroids really young, and this is really bad for your health, and also it's not fair. Because we have guys who use it and we have guys who don't use it. And the difference when we talk about the speed, about the power, the guys who use steroids, they recover themselves faster than the other guys. So if we talk about the athletes, this is not fair. The guys who are not professional fighters, or they just like to go to the gym to train a little bit, it's worse because they even compete to using this kind of things. So in my opinion, if I can give advice for you guys, don't do it. I think just the guys who replace, they do like the treatment for replace the hormones, it's okay. Because, you know, when you became old, your level of testosterone became low, and this give a lot of problems for you. You start be fat, you start to be like a weak, you start to have a lot of injuries, a lot of problems. This is because your testosterone starts to be low. So in this case, yes, you can find the doctor. He will do all the exams, and he will see exactly how much you need. This is okay. This is natural, you know, okay, to have a good life and you enjoy the life. But when you are young and you really don't need, or can be worse, you can do this, like you can go to the internet and just check like how to do it, how the guys do, and then you can do it yourself. This can be a bigger problem for you. So I recommend you guys don't do it, okay? So guys, let's come back a little bit and talk about the level, BJJ level in Russia. So as I told you guys, the level here is growing. I think really soon new guys will come and they will do a great job. But to be honest, right now, of course, we have a really tough guys in all the teams. We have a really tough guys in my team, in my gym. But it's hard to tell like one guy who can be a future BJJ champion in Russia. For me, it's pretty hard. You know, every team we have a really tough guys, but because of the not so much tournaments, not so much Brazilian coach, good coach here, more teams, all this stuff, sponsorship, all these things. The future world champion will be like in a couple of years, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years. In blue belt, purple belt, and black belt will be pretty hard for us now. And remember, guys, again, we have a really tough guys. Yes, we have a really tough guys who can win like many tournaments in Europe, you know, tournaments in Brazil, in Russia, and in Asia. But when we talk about the Mundial in California, it's the most tough tournament in the world. I think it will be pretty hard. So that's why I prefer not tell them any names like who I think like this guy can be. I have young guys in my team who like can be good, can be great, but who knows? Who knows if these guys will not stop to train jiu-jitsu? They are good talent, you know, but no one knows. You know, we already have some brown belts, some purple belts, really tough, black belts in Russia, really tough. Talent guys, but they need to teach all day. They almost don't have time to train, you know. So it's hard because the guys in America, the guys in Brazil, they are training all day. They don't need to teach. I will tell you just one name because for me, this guy, he has a really chance to be world champion. But I think he needs to compete more in this kind of tournament, like in BJJF tournaments, because normally he do more super fights. And I think this guy is really tough. He's a huge talent. I just think he needs to compete more and know more his opponents, you know, because I think for me, Bilarov, he has a good chance to be a world champion. He is young, he's not old. He's a pure talent. He's strong, he's smart. I saw him some fights. I saw how he fight. And I think if he dedicate more to compete more tournaments in BJJF, if he will travel more to compete more this format, he have a good chance to be a world champion in the black belt. I'm sure if he go a little bit more deep, he have a good chance. If I need to put my money in some Russia athlete right now, I talk about right now. I don't talk about 1, 2, 3, or 10 years. I talk about right now. I put my money on him. When we talk about the competition, it's better to explain a little bit how I did, okay? When I started training jiu-jitsu, as I told you guys, I was not so young. I was doing like a university. I was teaching in the gym. And then I start to train jiu-jitsu, find jiu-jitsu. When I start as a white belt, I didn't understand how train properly, how I need to train, how I need to rest, how I need to eat. I just start to train, I have a fun, and then I decide to go in some tournaments. No one explained me how to prepare myself for the tournaments. So I just went there, enjoyed the process, compete, have a fun, stay with my team, with my family, my friends. And then when I received my blue belt, and I decided to compete the first world championship, and that time was in Brazil. We started to do some specific train for this tournament. So then I understand like how all the professional fighters, they was preparing themselves for the tournament. So normally they was doing like a morning class, a couple of drills and a specific train. After that, they have 1 o'clock some specific train for the tournament. So there was like more sparrings, really tough sparrings. And in the night, we was doing like positions and some easy rolls. So then I start to understand how important it is like put focus in drills, position, sparring, respect the methodology. Because when we train specifically for the tournaments, we need to make the training more real. We need to respect, if you are a blue belt, you need to fight 6 minutes. But look, in the gym, when we came to the gym, normally we do like 4, 5, 6, 7 fights without the rest. And when we go to the tournament, we need to understand normally we do one fight and we rest like 2 or 3 fights until we go to the next one. So this is completely different, and we need someone who give us the information. So then I became a blue belt. I started to compete more. The results was not so good in blue belt. In purple belt, I started to win some big tournaments like national, international. I started to win some tournaments, really good tournaments in Rio de Janeiro. And the brown belt, I think, was one of the best for me because I won 2 times the national and I won the Rio Open because in that time the Mundial moved to America. And then this was for us like some kind of Mundial also because many guys from another country come to compete. So I won this tournament 1 time in blue belt. I won this tournament 2 times in purple belt. And I won this tournament 2 times in brown belt. And then I received my black belt and moved to Russia, and then I started to compete more international because when I was in Brazil, because of my I have no sponsor, I have no money to go for the trips, so I was competing just in Brazil. So, but when I come to Russia, I start to compete like Europeans. I start to compete in different countries, and for me it was a really good experience as a competitor. What I can tell you guys. You don't need to be the best athlete or the best fight, but you need 100% give your best, okay? I talk to my students. If you have a possibility to train 1 time per week, so come 1 time per week, but give your best. If you can come 2, 3 times a week, come 2, 3 times a week. If you can come every day, come every day. But every time when you come to the gym, you came to the mat, you need to give and let him your 100%. So if you will do this, I am sure you will like have a good success in your career.
Меня зовут Лапченков Дмитрий. Я занимаюсь у Кристиана с 2011 года. Пришел к нему белым поясом. Первые соревнования были у меня с ним в конце 2011 года. В прошлом году он меня промоутировал на черный пояс. И вот столько лет я занимаюсь уже как бы с одним тренером. Почему я выбрал Кристиана? Потому что я знаю, что он самый лучший тренер с самой лучшей техникой не только в Москве, но в принципе в России. Да, мне приходится далеко ездить. Езжу я из Подольска, приезжаю поздно, но я знаю, для чего я это делаю. Почему я выбрал именно бразильское джиу-джитсу? На самом деле это как бы наполовину случайный выбор был, потому что когда я решил заниматься в итоге каким-то из единоборств, я выбирал между джиу-джитсу или самбо. Но так получилось, что зал оказался первый возле моей работы. И я просто пошел посмотреть. Я посмотрел, мне это понравилось. Я узнал на открытых коврах, что, оказывается, у нас есть тренер из Бразилии. Вот, тогда информация не так быстро распространялась. Вот, я, как только узнал, мы поехали сразу там еще с друзьями, узнали, что вот он преподает на Юго-Западной. И когда я пришел, я сразу понял, что это совсем другой уровень. Это не то, чем занимались мы.
Jiu-Jitsu is not so popular in Russia. So when I talk about the Russia, people still don't understand like what is this? What is Jiu-Jitsu? And as I told you guys, they think like Jiu-Jitsu is something like a capoeira, but it's completely different if you know what is capoeira. So I want to invite you guys to come. You don't need to come here, but you have like many gyms, good coaches in Russia. So I want to invite you guys to try one time. You know, come, bring the gi, try to see if you like it. You know, because the more part of the guys who come for the first class, they fall in love for jiu-jitsu. Immediately they want to start to train every day, you know, and sometimes we need to tell them like, hey guys, keep cool. Let's start like 2-3 times a week because they really enjoy. Like yesterday, I have like two new students in the gym. They never fought before. They never tried jiu-jitsu, grappling, judo, sambo, and then it was the first class for them here in a white belt class. And we never put the white belts who just start to fight. So they asked me, I can fight, I want to fight. And then I told them, guys, let's keep calm, you know, let's learn first. And then you will be able to train. So let's learn like 1 month, and then you will be able to start to train because it can be a little bit dangerous for you. So I think this is the feeling, you know, you need to come, you need to feel part of something. You know, this is not just a team, this is a family. And when you go to the gym, you need to feel this. So I recommend you guys, try one time, and then you can like tell me, what do you think, what do you feel when you was on the mat. So I think the more part of the people will enjoy this, will enjoy the process, and the same will happen in the tournaments. Sometimes you go for the first time, and then after that you will be not able to stay without the tournaments anymore. So it's like this. Just try one more time without pressure, and I think you will be happy.